Leprechaun Returns, the film that no one asked for, but we got anyway. Now, this is a film that when I heard it getting announced, I was like, they're going to make another? And that's not me, okay? That's not how I normally am because I don't care. Like, make 50 fucking movies in a franchise. It doesn't matter. As long as they're fun, I'll come back. The reason I was surprised is because everyone despised Leprechaun Origins so fucking much. Which, I'm sorry, Leprechaun Origins is better than Leprechaun Back to the Hood, in my opinion. I don't think Leprechaun Origins is anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be. It's not good, but people like talk about it like it's an abomination, that it's like a 1 out of 10. No, it is not that bad. It's not great by any means. It's not even good, but people blow things out of proportion, especially when they're attached to a franchise. But then it was announced that Steven Kostanski was directing, and instantly, any reservations, anything that I had towards this film were gone. And I was like, this is going to be the best movie in this franchise, which, yes, I know that's not an extremely high bar, but there are fans of this. There are people, I just talked to a guy last night who's like, oh my God, this is like my fourth or something favorite franchise ever. So there are Leprechaun fans. Every franchise, they made fucking 7 of these things before this. Of course there's fans of franchises, and that's fine, and that's great. But for the most part, when you bring up the Leprechaun series, it's kind of a joke. People are like, oh, that series? Like, okay, here we go. So yeah, it didn't really have a high bar there, but I just knew. And I do like some of them. 4 being my favorite. Shit on me all you want. I know the one in space. How could you? It's the funniest one. It's absolutely asinine, and I just have a fun time watching it. It's very, very silly, but makes me laugh. So that is my favorite one. I know 3 is the fan favorite, but I'm a 4 guy. But I knew this was going to be the best in the franchise. And then I saw that it was going to be a direct continuation to part 1, ignoring all the sequels, which seems to be the thing now, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D did it, or Texas Chainsaw 3D, sorry. Halloween just did it. This is going to do it. Who knows what next franchise is going to do it? I guess, ignoring all the sequels and just sticking to the first one is going to become the new fad. It used to be remakes, then it was sequels, now it's going to be sequels ignoring all sequels. But that Ozzy was coming back here, and that it was going to be taking place at the house from the first one and all that, I was instantly bought in. To be fair, though, the sequels ignore the original. There is not a sequel in this franchise that has anything to do with the first movie. So the rules, everything are changed in 2 and 3, and they don't care about the first movie. So why should this one care about any of the sequels? It shouldn't. This is the only direct sequel to the first one anyway. It's not like Halloween 2, which obviously was a continuation of the same damn night. It was ignoring a movie that definitely paid attention to the one before it. This one is ignoring all the movies that also ignored the first one. So I think it's a little different. But yes, oh my God, 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, I haven't even said, this movie was great. I should have started that by saying this. I know I'm rambling too much, but yeah, this is a good fucking movie. Best in the series. Just as I had said, my favorite one, easily. This is such a cool ass movie, but no surprise. No surprise with Steve Kostanski, however you say this guy's last name, the director of The Void and a co-director on Father's Day, Manborg, the Astron 6 guys. They broke off after that, and he went off and he did The Void, and now this, and they went off and did The Editor, which is excellent. So they got some great people there. Their branching off has spawned some really cool shit. Leprechaun Returns being one of those things. So anyway, if you're a big Leprechaun fan, I think you're going to be very pleased with this as a direct sequel to the first one. It does it very well. The humor is great. The gore is excellent. The humor is good. Like, it's funny. It's not just, well, that was really stupid, so that was funny. No, the humor actually lands well. I was laughing at the humor because it was well thought out, humorous humor. And yes, it's silly humor, but it works. It isn't just him throwing together some rhymes. It's well thought out jokes, and they land. And the gore, the practical effects, there's some CGI, yes, but for the most part, it's almost all practical effects, which I would expect from this director, are great and gory and inventive on some of them, and funny, and just what you want to see in this kind of movie. No one goes to a Leprechaun movie to see a serious film. They go for jokes, one-liners, gore, a little freaking shit-talking leprechaun. That is what you get. This movie did everything it needed to. And playing off the story of the original, it is a fantastic follow-up. The house looks identical, even though this was shot in like South Africa or something. The character in this is supposed to be Tori's daughter, Jennifer Aniston's character. It's her daughter. She was returning here. It is now being turned into a fraternity house off campus, and it's supposed to go all green. They're putting, green, get it? They're putting in solar panels. They're going for the well. Remember, if you remember the first one, where it ends, where's the leprechaun? Spoilers for the first one. For some reason you haven't watched it. This is a good movie to watch back to back with the original. So if you haven't seen the original for some reason, watch the original and then watch this. So it is a really good premise. And then Ozzy comes and picks her up. He takes her to the house. He's talking to her about the mom, all that stuff. So it is well played off of the first. All right, let's get into spoilers. I want to talk about this shit. So as I said, it starts where the last one leaves off. And this is what Origins should have been. This is the movie that Origins should have been. But it is what it is. I don't hate Origins like everyone else. But bringing Origins is it's a misfire because it's nothing like the other Leprechauns. Like if you're going to make it Leprechaun, like just remake Leprechaun and reinvent it. Don't tease Origins pretending like it's going to be the origins of the Leprechaun we already know and make it nothing like Leprechaun. That makes no sense. So I completely understand why people hate it, but me stepping back from the Leprechaun franchise and just viewing it as a horror movie, it's just a generic horror movie. It's not horrible. It's not good. It's just generic. And so for people to be like 1 out of 10, I think that's mostly just coming from this is a poor Leprechaun movie. It is nothing like the Warwick Davis thing. Now, speaking of Warwick Davis, and obviously having yet another new Leprechaun here, not Dylan Hornswoggle, wasn't the other dude's name? We have another guy here. I honestly forgot his name, but it doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but just for the sake of the review, I can't remember it. It's an interesting name. He's great. He's fucking great, man. I loved him in this portrayal because it's Warwick Davis-esque. That was hard to say. Warwick Davis-esque. But not so exactly the same that you're like, oh, he's just trying to imitate him. He made it his own thing while also sticking true to what we remember and love of Warwick Davis's performance. Now, Warwick Davis has 6 portrayals of him, and this guy only has 1. So to be like, well, which one did it better? It's too close to say, but he is a great replacement. I will say that. So thank you for putting in a guy who can actually put in a good Leprechaun performance and not just Hornswoggle, who's this creature who just runs around and is a monster, scary thing. Like, the humor is what Leprechaun is kind of based upon. Like, that's its foundation. It's got humor in it. It's not like Freddy, where like Freddy started off as a monster and then became funny as the franchise went on. No, Leprechaun always was funny. The humor was always a huge part of the Leprechaun. So to try to take him back to his roots of being scary again does not apply to this franchise. The humor is part of the character. So that's where the big misstep of Origins came from. Anyway. Alright, so we find out Tori is dead from cancer, so they couldn't get Jennifer Aniston back. So they killed her, which I'm not shocked she's not in this. Although, at the end of this, someone does an impersonation of her voice, and it is damn good. So, kudos to them. It's not like the fucking Dr. Loomis in the new Halloween, or even the one in H2O, where they're just like, you couldn't get anyone better for them doing a Donald Pleasance? Because when it's just their voice, it should just be like a perfect impersonation, not someone's take on it. No, it should be someone trying their best to do a replication of their voice. Spot on. And man, the ones in the Halloween movies for him. Although Pleasant's voice is tough. I thought the joke with the Uber thing was pretty funny. Or Lyft, or whatever this thing is that she's using when she calls. And she's like, yeah, it's okay, you can go away, I don't need anything. And then she gets on her phone, types in Uber drivers in the area, and presses send, and he picks up. That was great. You can hear the phone ringing. She's like, oh, fuck. Like, now I feel like an asshole. Takes her out. And as I do love the attention to detail here, Ozzy's ear is still scarred from the first movie. So that was cool to see. It's not like Dr. Loomis. I'm going to bring this to Halloween as much as I can, where his facial scars keep getting lesser and lesser and lesser. Although in Halloween 6, the producer's cut, he does say he paid for plastic surgery to have the scars removed. That should have been in the theatrical, so they can explain why he has no scars on his face. Those are some amazing plastic surgeons. From what you see in the first one, when he has this like nub on his cheek, and then he's just like smooth, those are some amazing skin grafts they did. Anyway. The house looks exactly the same. I mean, kudos to them. I would have to look a side-by-side comparison, but we actually kind of get one. She holds the picture up, and then she lowers it, and it's the same house. I don't know if that is a picture from the first movie, but it looks damn similar from my memory. I haven't watched the first one in a long time. I should have watched it right before this. But it's been over a year since I saw the first one. The last one was Origins. But it did. It reminded me of it at least. So it wasn't like Halloween 5, here we go again, where you go to the Myers house and it's like this fucking Victorian mansion looking thing. Ugh, gross. All right. We got no power, no internet, and no cell reception. So we immediately eliminate all that stuff from bringing it back to before people had the internet and phones and all that. Pretty simple fix there. Then Ozzy goes over to get his phone. The water sprays up into his face, goes down into his stomach, and mixes with the coin that he swallowed in Leprechaun. That's awesome. I think it's ridiculous that the coin's still in him, to be completely honest. But hey, it's magical. Okay, it's a magical coin. It's still in him. I didn't even catch it at first. Like when I was watching it, and then they said something, and then the coin and all that, and then later in the movie it said something about the coin and his stomach, and I was like, oh, that's the coin he swallowed. Oh, okay, I get it. So the coin he swallowed in the first one is still inside of him. The water gets in, mixes with the coin, and the leprechaun is able to burst forth. Now, the way the leprechaun comes out of Ozzy, awesome. Awesome stuff. Sticks a hand through, sticks another foot. When the foot came through, I laughed out loud. Then his head pops through, and he looks like freaking, what's that character's name? Quado? No, Quado? What? Oh, fuck, from Total Recall? That's his damn name. That's what it looked like. Oh, fuck. Man, I can't believe I can't remember the damn name of that character. But yeah, it was funny. It was great. It was great practicals. It was great gore. The leprechaun's making jokes. He's saying something about like, you look a little worse for age, but he's looking out this way, and Ozzy's up here. I'm not sure how he saw what he looks like, but hey, he's magical, as we said. It just was such a great effect. Him sticking out of his stomach and him running around, and the gore, the skin, the everything looked great. I was really impressed by that, and it instantly put me in this movie 100%. I hadn't really seen much gore at that point, or any, I don't think, no. And that happened, and the jokes and Ozzy and the references to everything, awesome. It immediately took me back to the first one. It was the sequel I always wanted. Cool shit. And then the mailbox kill, sticks the mailbox, the head on the mailman, and then runs the thing over, and like the blood shoots out. Great kill. Killing a mailman with a mailbox. Good stuff. And then he comes over and he like punches it one more time, and a little more blood comes out. Just adding fucking insult to injury there. I love it. The characters in this, the main character, her daughter here, I liked her. Here's what's interesting about this movie. All the characters, not all of them, but some of the characters are really annoying, and I wasn't huge on them at first, but they actually grew on me throughout the film, and by the end of it, I actually liked them as their characters. And I think on a rewatch, now having grown to like them, I will like them from the beginning, because I'll be like, well, yes, she's an uptight bitch, but I get why she is, and I like why she is. So Meredith is such a bitch, though. She's the character you want dead. She's the character you want to die. You're like, please, just die. Rose is very annoying. She's that Charlotte character from Sex and the City. Yes, I brought up Sex and the City on this horror fucking channel. Uh-oh, I lost some subscribers there. But that's who she reminds me of. She's this uptight, proper, everything has to be done by the book, whatever, character. But she's one that grew on me. At the end of this, I was like, okay, it's kind of cute that she's like this. And let's see. Knocks that guy's head off. That was great. The one-liners are great. Lila's acting, Lila, the main character here, is great. Like when she's getting emotional and all that, like when she has to actually act, when this film actually calls for acting, and her like calling back to her memories of her mom and how emotional all that is. Good stuff. A strong actress. I was impressed. The whole Walkman and a camera all in one, like the fish out of water stuff with the Leprechaun is good stuff. Because he's been down there for 25 fucking years. He hasn't seen anything. He does a Hammer Time joke, which I think at that time, Hammer Time, when that movie came out, Hammer Time would have been pretty popular. So I thought that was kind of an interesting joke to throw in there, because he's from the early 90s, and so is that joke. So I was like, wait, is that song? And I'm like, yeah, that song would have came out before he went into the well. I don't know if he was going around and listening to pop songs, but he seems to know the culture. And he doesn't when he comes out of the well. 25 years has passed, and it's the future to him, and he's that fish out of water. And his observations of things like the Walkman, the iPhone, and all that are funny. They're really funny lines. It's like, that's good. The solar panel kill, great stuff. Reminds me of the movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez, when she's looking at that horse, and then the things come down and split it, and then open it up, and you see like the insides. Splits the guy down the fucking center, and his arm falls off, and then his body slides, and it falls on the ground in halves, and you see all the organs inside, as if it's some kind of like laboratory thing, which is ridiculous. The body obviously would fall apart, but for a visual joke gag, it's funny, it's great, it's gory, it's what you want. Thank you. And I do love the girl's reaction. The girl who was dating him, the black chick, she's like, is he dead? Because he was like cut in half. And she's like, oh my God, he is dead. It's like this moment of like, is he dead? I don't know. And it's like, he could be more dead. There's not a kill that could have made him more dead. The Leprechaun ripping his face off and laughing and whatnot was awesome. What a great fucking moment. We see that in like Nightmare on Elm Street when Freddy rips his face off and stuff. In other movies as well, but never gets old. Love it. It looked great, and then he slaps it back on and actually puts his face back together and becomes the Leprechaun again. Amazing practicals. Really funny, really cool looking. Good stuff. And then Meredith locks Lila in the basement and then goes outside and tells everyone she died. That's so fucked up. She's like, no, he's after you. It's kind of smart, but in a really evil way. Like, you know that those scenes in the movie where it's like the killer's after this person, and then the guy comes in and he's like, well, let's just give him to him then, you know, like fuck them. I'm not dying for this person. If all they're here for is you, give them to him. But this way, she didn't even go out to like vote for it or make a suggestion. She just threw her in the basement. She's like, you're the one he wants anyways, locks her down there, then goes outside, and instead of being stupid and being like, because she's already done the evil thing. So instead of her going outside being stupid and being like, well, I locked her in the basement because this is, you know, her deal and she should have to deal with it. And then everyone would protest and be like, we can't do that. We got to go back inside. No, she just was like, she died. He killed her. Sorry, let's go. As evil as it is, it was a smart play for an alcoholic idiot. I just thought that was great stuff. And then Ozzy's ghost stuff is just hilarious. Like, he's doing charades. There's a lot of really clever humor in here that's used throughout the movie of this misdirect stuff where he does all this long charades thing, and usually people would be like guessing or at the end be like, this is what you're trying to say. But she's just like, yeah, I didn't get any of that. Like, it was completely pointless. It was all for a gag, and it worked. And then later in the movie, we have the same thing where she like tells the guy off, and then she starts to walk away, and she's like, actually, we need a ride. You know, turns around. And then there's another part where she's like, you know, they're out in the woods, and she doesn't know which way to go, and she's like, says something big, and then she starts to walk away, and she's like, you know, that seemed like the thing to do in the moment, but we actually probably should make a plan, and I don't really even know where I'm going. Like, that is funny. That is great stuff. And we do it a bunch of times in the movie, and every time it worked for me. She also gives Ozzy saran wrap to wrap up his organs and to keep him in his body because he's sitting there holding him. And she's like, are you a zombie? And he's like, no. And she's like, are you a ghost? And he's like, I don't know. He doesn't even know what he is. And it's great. And then he walks through the wall, and his saran wraps falls to the ground because it's, you know, obviously a foreign material. It's actual material, and he walks through the wall, and it doesn't come with him. It's funny stuff, man. It's just little, you know, blink and you miss it stuff, but really good stuff. And the freaking leprechaun flying on the little drone there, and then getting impaled in the face by the long branch. Great stuff. Lots of green blood, lots of gross out shit in this movie. Awesome. And then, yeah, the decapitation looks great. And then but the guy just takes it. Like the drone comes and it starts slicing into his neck, and then the head lops off and it goes on the ground. It's spurting blood, and then 10 minutes later, the girls walk over and see the decapitated head, and it's still spurting blood out the head. This guy had a lot of blood in his head, but it made me laugh out loud. So fuck it. The truck is back. They find it looks exactly like the truck from the first one where the gold was found in the first one. I'm not sure why freaking what's her name? Rose. I'm not sure why Rose has to explain herself on, I found gold, I went and I sold the gold, and I spent the money on this house that you are all living in. Like, she's like, I'm so sorry, and is like, it feels like bad having to reveal this stuff. And it's like, you don't have to say shit. All of these motherfuckers would have done this. Like, anyone would have. She found a pot of gold, she sold the gold, and she used the gold money to pay for a house for all these girls to live in, and now she's having to explain herself and say sorry. Like, I get that the leprechaun's coming after them because the gold can't be found now. And yes, now in hindsight's always 2020, right? It's like, well, I guess I shouldn't have sold it, but everyone would have. So it's ridiculous that they're giving her the like, oh, how could you? Fuck you. You would to anybody. Literally anyone would. If you found a fucking bucket of gold, you would go and you would take it and you would get the money for it and you would spend it. Like, it's silly. That part to me was like, why is she apologizing? That's stupid. I do love that fool's gold hurts him. That makes all the sense in the world. He's out for gold, but fool's gold hurts him because it's made of iron. And iron is one of the things in the original movie that hurts him. Or at least in one of the movies. But I know, the four-leaf clovers do. I do love that when Ozzy's doing the charades thing, that is like a total representation of how they defeat him with the slingshot and the four-leaf clover. And like he does the whole movie right there. And then she's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Funny stuff. The more gold he gets, the more powerful he is, which always... They have so many tampons. They have so many tampons. These girls brought a lot of tampons. Holy shit. That bucket has like 150 tampons on it. I don't know any girls that have that many tampons. I seem to have to run to the store to get them one every time they have their fucking period, and it's like a box of 20. So these girls really stock up. But there's like 4 girls in the house, so fucking 150. They have to have like 40 each. And the girl falling into her dead boyfriend and her face like in his guts, gross, awesome. And his explosion is great. His pieces go everywhere, and then they turn into little mini cons. That was funny. Him dancing around, Rose falling on the shovel and the shovel going up through her head. Awesome. I actually was bummed because I actually started to like Rose, and I was like, ah. His little line there about helping the environment, doing population control. Yeah, that's about as green as you get. Kill a bunch of people, and that's gonna, erase the carbon footprint a little more. I know someone said this movie's a little too preachy, and I'm guessing that's what they're getting at, but I can't really argue that logic. And plus, movies are products of their time. One of the, hot topics of right now is, climate change. He even makes a global warming joke when he's on fire. Funny stuff. So I didn't really find that to be all that heavy-handed. I guess it is heavy-handed, but because I believe in, climate change and that we need to change this and that going green is a good thing and whatnot. Yeah, it didn't affect my viewing experience. And just him on fire was great. Him still kind of throwing out jokes while screaming was cool. And then at the end, the Bismarck to bust fucking hitchhiking thing. And he's walking down, he's all defeated and burnt. And then this guy picks him up and he just rides away with the chickens. Fucking great stuff, man. What a fantastic follow-up. Anyone who was down on this movie and like they should make another one, you should have known with that director involved that this movie was going to rock. Definitely one of my faves of the year, and the sequel, as I said, that none of us asked for, but I'm so glad we got it. Thank you guys. I should have made this my Monster Monday, but I want to get it out there as fast as I can because I know a bunch of people are interested in this movie, and obviously I hope you have watched it at this point. I'm going to get back inside, check out this movie if you haven't, and let me know when you do. I would also like to see a ranking list of the Leprechaun franchise for those fans of it who have seen all of them and are, even if you're not a fan of the franchise and you've seen all of them, I want to see a ranking list. This is number 1 for sure for me, then 4, and then I don't know. I'd have to think about it. And I still can't believe I can't remember the fucking Total Recall character. Quaid. Oh fuck. I know Quaid is the other character, but I'm disappointed in myself, and you should be too. All right, guys.